on this episode of Paranormal South. A story of heartbreak has turned into a local ghost story surrounding Van Buren's King Opera House. The King Opera House is a performance hall located in Van Buren, Arkansas's Main Street. Since it was built in the 19th century, the Opera House's stage has hosted many plays and performers. The King Opera House is a contributing property of the Van Buren Historic District, listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The Victorian-era structure first opened its doors in the 19th century and has since undergone extensive restoration prior to reopening for use in 1979. The auditorium of the Opera House has numerous seats on ground level, with additional seating in the balcony, all with an intricate, period-correct design. Built for large and well-sized performances on its stage, the Opera House's basement, in contrast, has 2 couches and 2 small closet-sized dressing rooms. The basement can be highly cramped in its relatively modest changing area and green room, particularly for productions with large casts. The Ghost Stories. During the 19th century Victorian era, the King's Opera House opened its doors and gained its ghostly origin. The legend goes that a young actor who was part of a theater troupe was performing at the King Opera House. While in Van Buren, he fell in love with the young daughter of the town doctor. It was a relationship the young girl's father would not approve of. The two planned to run away together and went to the Van Buren train depot in hopes of fleeing the town. When the town doctor found out, he became furious and took off in a horse and buggy for the train depot, where it said he whipped the young actor to death. Today, the tale has emerged into a legend surrounding Van Buren's King Opera House. Many former directors of the faculty say the ghost of the young man wandered to the old theater where he remains today. Several former employees who have worked at the King Opera House say when they were alone, they often feel like there's someone in the room with them. A former director of the Young Actors Guild, which in the past regularly performed at the King Opera House, also said she once turned off the lights only to discover every light in the theater had turned on by itself the following morning. Others actually say they've seen the ghost of a young actor in person. The ghost is said to materialize dressed in a top hat and Victorian-style coat with a long cape, still longing to be with the girl he fell in love with all those years ago. Thoughts. All right. What'd you guys think of that short, sweet ghost story? Well, not sweet, it's actually quite sad. But, I actually have never been to the King Opera House. I've been to Van Buren before, but I didn't know about the King Opera House, and I'm very intrigued by it. And like most places, I would really like to go. Now, the interesting thing for me is that is not quite the story that I heard about the haunting of the King Opera House. Similar, yes, but as these stories and these ghost stories get passed down throughout the years, things begin to change. Now, it did say, so I believe the story that I've told you to be more accurate, maybe. I'm not sure. A murder did happen, and it was the actor, and it had to do with the daughter. But the one that I heard was that the woman and the actor had fallen in love. The dad did not approve, but there was another man who the dad wanted his daughter to marry, and it was him who shot him in cold blood outside the theater. Now, that's the one I heard when I was watching a documentary about haunted places in Arkansas. So it's not too far off either story. He still got murdered. Same guy got murdered because dad didn't want his daughter to be with the actor. What dad wants their daughter to marry a stage actor? But back then, traveling troupes were very much common, and they weren't, praised upon. They were sort of outcasts, so to speak. But I remember in the documentary a woman saying about the lights that we talked about, and that there was a man sitting in a balcony watching. And then another time when a man was on a ladder on the stage, doing what he has to do. And he saw a glowing round orb ball of light situation floating through the house, also known as the audience. And as it kept approaching the stage, so obviously you're on a ladder and you see a massive ball of like energy flying your way. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, well, cool. I'm on a ladder and this is how it ends. Fantastic. You know what I mean? So he saw this ball of light approach the stage, and as the ball grew bigger and brighter, it turned into, I hate to sound like cheesy fairy tale on you, but it started to form the shape of a man in a top hat, very Victorian, didn't acknowledge him at all, but proceeded to walk past him and to the back and through the back wall, like the scenery. Now, I firmly believe 110% that if there is any place that is said to be haunted, it is any and most performing arts venues, especially if they're places that are old. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, someone died there. What we all have to understand, if you do believe in the paranormal like that, we as actors, we spill, and I've said this in an episode in the past, we as actors, we use so much energy to put on a production for people, even if they don't realize that we do it. So much energy and time goes into a role. Now, if you are playing a role that is so full, a character that is so full of sadness, you, the actor, have to put yourself in that mindset. And sometimes it's very hard to get out of it. That's why you must protect yourselves. But, you have all of these emotions happening in one space, live in front of you, in an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. Happy, sad, all of it. It's all these emotions that happen live every night in front of you, which means energy builds and it draws and it's just there. So I firmly believe that because of the beauty of live theater and all the emotion and hard work that goes into entertaining people live, can really stir up some paranormal things that may not have been there in the first place. I do think that entities or spirits are attracted to energies, and they can come and just be like, ooh, there's a whole bunch of energy here. Let me go ahead and suck on this for a while. Or it could be the land in which the building sits on. There's a lot of factors. And I think that the man haunting, this actor man that's haunting the King Opera House, I do not think that he is aware. I don't think he himself is actually there. Now, again, I've never performed on that stage. I don't know if he has had any kind of interaction with people or if they just see him going about his business. Because if he's going about his business, that's what class? What is that called? I've said it a couple times already. Residual, which means it's like a movie that is just on loop. The energy is just going through the actions. A moment was so traumatizing that the atmosphere just sucked it all up, and when the energy hits, then it just goes. It just plays. Even if we don't see it, it's going to be there, and it's going to continue to play. Just how we think of a memory, but it's inside of our heads, this time, it's just in front of you. It's a memory. Now, if this actor dude is watching performances, it's convenient for him to haunt a theater because he was an actor. It's sad that he'll never find his boo thing, because she gone. It doesn't say what happened to her. I mean, she was distraught, but I don't know if she moved away, married some other dude. Dad was probably, chugging him back. So I'm not sure what happened there with them. That'd be interesting to look up. But it'd be a very convenient place for him to go if you were an intelligent entity. Go where it all started, the love, and where it ended with his life. I think I'd be a little pissed. I mean, y'all may not be. I don't know. But if I were him, and I'm not, obviously, I would probably have mixed feelings. Okay, I think that I would be very confused. Like, I'd be looking around and be like, why are these people in weird clothing? They don't look like me. Unless he has the sense of time. I don't know how that works. And I'd be like, where is my girl? She was supposed to be here, but she ain't here no more. And I'm sure the opera house looks hella different than it did in the 19th century. Like, hella different. But maybe he grows accustomed. What a fun place to be. He was an actor. Loved to be on stage. Loved to perform. But I don't know. What do you guys think? He doesn't sound malicious. He just sounds like he's a little trapped, a little stuck. He probably wants to move on because that would be where she would be, in the light. Well, he'll get there one day. Maybe someone will come and help him because that needs to happen. Send him on his way. Because we don't want to use a haunting just so you can grab them coins, because that is what? Disrespectful. All right. I guess I'm going to label this a short and sweet episode because this is not lengthy at all. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the little history ghost story of the Van Buren King Opera House. And I will see you guys in a couple days. Stay safe. Love you all.